Okay, welcome back, and we're trying to, take a peek inside the crisis in the Ekiti primaries, APC primaries. And gentlemen, I know it's an impassioned subject, but I do want to appeal to, please don't let's campaign for any candidate. You know what amounts to a campaign. We're trying to get at the facts, pending when APC itself will sort out how everything is, then we'll know. I'm sure you understand, gentlemen, because there are, as you just told us, 33, we're talking about Kawade Fayemi and maybe Ojudu. That leaves 31 other candidates. But the whole problem has happened. Most people, my guess is that most people would like it to continue from where it was left off, but perhaps there's not an insignificant amount of people who say, let it go back to the very beginning. This is a problem. You two gentlemen who have said from the beginning that you happen, and by the way, I think you people virtually met yourselves here, even though it just so happens by coincidence that, Femi says that, I'm a Fayemi man, and so does Kole as well. But it's a coincidence that both of you are meeting yourself first time here. Dr. Jide Johnson is famously not of any side whatsoever. However, he does have a deep knowledge and an interest in what's going on in Ekiti. Now, Dr. Johnson says what fairness will demand would be go back to where we were before we had to truncate, and then keep it on from there. Now, this is assuming that it won't lead to a further crisis in the sense that you're sort of assuming or taking for granted that there was a due and diligent recording of the votes right up to the time things went wrong. Can you really think that?
Uncle Yomi, this is the issue. Were the delegates duly accredited?
They were.
I'm coming. The delegates were duly accredited into the stadium. And the people in the stadium were the people that were actually meant to vote. If that process is established, then why do you want to disenfranchise or cancel the process because some people who are hoodlums made attempt to scuttle the process? I tell you this, where from political point of view, from commonsensical point of view, where the election stopped is where they should continue from, because all candidates were there, and the votes there were no cases of rigging or manipulation prior to the disruption of the process. But you are now saying that, let's say it's a general election and there were disruptions in some wards. Now you say you are not going to count the votes, or in some local government, you are not going to count the votes.
In mind Femi, before you continue, have you heard from the party yet? Has the party commented yet?
Yeah, the party has commented to some extent, and they have not actually made any final decision as to how the primary is going to go. From whether it's going to go from where it was left off, or whether it was going to be...
Point of correction. Point of correction. The national PRO of the party, Mr. Bolaji Abdullahi, has stated in a press statement categorically that the
I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that. But I think what we really need to also be mindful of is that the National Working Committee has not made any official pronouncement,
and that's the body
that is what we should be actually. Abdullahi can make statement. He's a public secretary of the party, but there has not been any official statement from the national. That's where I'm going.
I think he spoke on behalf of the NWC.
But again, this is
Can
what
you speak for the NWC?
He spoke for the NWC.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
the statement, he said the NWC will meet today and they will make a categorical statement.
But let us try to be fair, to some extent. But then the other thing I want to add to this is the fact that about 27 of the aspirants has already made, again, their own categorical statement that the primary should be, what happened on Saturday should be cancelled, and the whole thing should start
27?
About 27 of them, yes. They have actually they have made an official,
I don't know, Colin, is this part of the gang up you were talking about?
Yeah.
But see, we've been talking about aspirants and the micro process situation of what happened on Saturday. But we really have not talked about the party itself. And the reason I mention that is that I think the party at the national level is culpable on all of this.
Do you have any evidence for that? Because being a member of the party yourself, it's saying plenty.
You should not have allowed 33 aspirants to begin with.
Okay.
Are you following me? Because you have an organization where rules and regulations
but I thought you said democracy is free and fair, and you see, you people are complaining about lack of internal democracy within the APC. Now people come forward, say we want to aspire. You say no, you can't aspire.
No, that's not the essence of it. See, in an ideal democracy, even in the U.S. democracy that we're talking about, I don't think there's anywhere in the world that there was going to be a primary that about 30-something people will come into the, knowing fully well that almost half, if not more than half of these aspirants do not have any chance anyway. So if you want to gang up, I think the best thing you should have done, knowing fully well, if you want to be honest with yourself, that you cannot even get 5 delegates, the best thing you should have done is to collapse your own so-called structure and team up with somebody that you think has the right chance. And that is where I was going in terms of mentioning the party at the national level, that they should have put some mechanisms in place to make sure that the unworthy lot, did not happen in the first place.
Let me come in first.
It'll be interesting. Okay, let me hear from you, because I want to ask you.
As a lawyer,
yes.
Our laws are very clear about all this. Nobody, except by persuasion, nobody has the right to stop anybody from contesting.
So this is part of the...
Yes, it's the law. It's only a law court.
It is part of the complexity of the situation. Yes, because that's the point I was making earlier.
You can even see how
people have complained about internal democracy.
You can even see the number of political parties we are having now.
Yes.
Everything is liberalized.
Exactly.
Right?
The party could have a guideline.
Indeed.
To streamline,
so because what Femi,
the process.
Because Jide, what Femi seems to be implying is that, well, he did use the word complicity on the part of, the party at the national level, that they intentionally built crisis into it just by accepting perhaps an incongruous number of candidates.
500,000 naira expression of interest.
Yes.
No, it's 7.5.
I'm calling 500,000 naira expression of interest, that you are expressing your interest, and 5 million naira nomination fee. You see, one of the areas I'm coming, one of the areas that
he said it's 7.5 million actually.
One of the areas we need to restructure is even why would the National Working Committee in Abuja, I'm not sure there's a National Working Committee in the United States that will determine for people staying in New York that this will be your governor. These are some of the areas. We say we practice federalism. But we operate a unitary system, even in the party structure. Because the people in Abuja cannot decide. It should have been the people in Ekiti. If we truly practice democracy the way it should be practiced, the final authority lies with the Ekiti people, the people they have elected into the party system. And this crisis that we have in APC, we have not seen anything yet. In 2014, the party had world congresses. And that's why the party has not been able to hold conventions. Had world congresses at the state level, at the world level, at the local government. There were crises. It's documented. It's there. And as a result of that, they keep postponing the elective congress. And by the time we come to primaries, this issue... Now, this is a fallout of the skill structure of the delegates and the party officers at the local government level. Because whoever has the structure as far back as 2014, because that structure has not been normalized, creates this type of problem. And that's where the National Working Committee, like you say, it becomes culpable, because you've got to provide a level playing ground for everybody. There should. Now, this primary shouldn't have taken place with the subsisting executive, because there are world congresses in all states in Nigeria, in APC, with the exception of Ekiti State. They should have put in the new world congresses to deal with this issue.
Actually, that wouldn't have been, tidy.
Before you continue, let me hear from Mahmoud, calling in from Abuja. Good morning, Mahmoud.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. I want to support the position of Dr. Jide. I am a member of APC, and we have been complaining of this for a very long time. In particularly, you mentioned the issue of reducing aspirants. If we put up genuine screening committee, you will see that more than half of these people are not even qualified by the guidelines of APC. The number one is a registered member must pick up this. The man in the middle there, I'm very sure, joined APC 2 years. If we check the
that is Mr. Kole Ajayi.
His name will not be there. Yes, Mr. Kole Ajayi. His name will not be on the register list. The APC has register, and the register is right there in Abuja. We have a data bank. If we check the names of these 33 aspirants, I'm very sure those who are there, who have their name registered, may not be more than 7. This was what happened in Kogi. There were 27 aspirants, and out of these 27, we cross-checked them and said 5 were the only one, by the guideline put up by this National Working Committee. I think the solution moving forward is that APC must domesticate all our activities. If you want to run elections in Ekiti, allow the state structure in the Ekiti to undo this. They know this aspirant better. Some of them don't even know the name, one single name of those who are in the ESCO. They just go to the Abuja, they buy form, and their own interest there is just to gather money. You can see it by resolution of NEC. 40% of money generators supposed to be given to the state. Ask APC in Ekiti. I'm very sure no one kobo was given to them. This has been the practice. So they are the architect of the crisis in this. And nationally, our President Muhammadu Buhari must begin to put our house in order. If not, I pity what will happen to this party. It is not, we must stop complaining about what goes on in PDP. We have our problem, we should face it, and sincerely we must face it. Okay. I remember after the election in Ekiti, I personally sent a text message to Governor Dr. Fayemi, and I advise, now you have lost. Though they may not be the reflection of what should go on, but you must go back and rebuild the party. What those are complaining, the officers there, we've spoken with, some of them are colleagues, we've spoken to them, and they are saying the former governor has left the party. All this, you can't come back, and because you have certain influence on this, and this is the thing, though they must go back from the beginning, rescreen this aspirant. Within a day, they can do it. All right, and then bring up those who are genuine registered members of APC, and they did.
Thank you very much, Mahmoud, calling in from Abuja. Okay, you'd like to
I need to
respond
correct him about nobody goes to Abuja to register. Registration takes place, membership registration takes place primarily at the ward level. So Abuja doesn't originate register. I registered in my ward.
The point he was making, I think, is that, since you came in 2 years ago,
yes,
that you wouldn't have been on the register that has been in use because that has not, the structure has not been tampered with since Fayemi days.
But no, I didn't enter to be an executive member. I re-entered to be a member.
Okay.
And immediately I was registered by my ward. And membership mobilization is recurrent. It's on daily basis.
Okay.
And it is just expected of the ward to transmit such names to the state, and the state transmits to national if there is any data bank.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Let me go further. Let me go further about what he's trying to say.
Look, you see, because this is an interactive program, you're going to have to hold on a while. Not my fault. Okoroafo has called in. Mazi Okoroafo, good morning.
Good morning, Sayori. Good morning, our guests in the studio. Honestly speaking, Sayori, if I have my way, all the past governors, senators, House of Rep members, House of Assembly members contesting, they are the problem of the party today. Left for me, none of them will be allowed to contest. You see, this is what we call politics of commotion and confusion. What is happening there? They are increasing the number of political thoughts in this country. Because see how a human being uses his leg and hand and start kicking boxes in the place. In an open place. Now you ask yourself, is that young man all those boys or those men doing that thing, are they doing it for their own personal? They are being sponsored. So that is the issue. Because what I've discovered here in Nigeria, that people go into politics just to do or that is for their own personal advantage. But if it's for the interest of the public, I don't think something. Now look at. Maybe you are a minister. You are supposed to be at your duty post. See what is happening in what is Kaduna. Somebody's supposed to be there and know what's happening with that man. But people are there, all of them are there contesting. Where are we heading to? Honestly speaking, they should stop all this issue of political hooliganism because they are increasing the number of political talks in this country. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Indeed. Thank you very much for calling in. The other thing that I thought I should bring up as we are running out of time, and I know I've been interrupting you, so I'm going to stay with you with this question, is that doesn't APC have to be very, very careful here? Because if it goes into the election with any form of rancor, there might be the political equivalent of demarketing for the party's candidate, where you have people working against the candidate of their party simply because of the sour grapes syndrome.
I don't think that would really...
It would come to that?
No, I don't think it will come to that because just like Doctor said, all these things are not new. They are not new. Crises within and after primaries are not new. Even in Lagos here, where we have relative sanity. Well, of course, when Ambode wanted to emerge, we had a lot of dissenting voices, and of course, there's a leadership that put everything in order as quickly. Look at
the leadership was not a contestant.
No, I knew.
In this case, the leadership is a contestant.
I knew. But you see, look at the Ondo case, Akeredolu and all these, Abrahams and all this, and Akeredolu still won. You know. So you see, even in 2007. When Fayemi won the ticket, there was an influx of 11 aspirants, you know, going to Oni, and Fayemi got his mandate back, even despite that. So it does not really matter. It depends on the strength of the party. And from what we can see now, APC is our only saving grace in this country.
Okay, APC is strong on ground in APC.
I don't see our aspirants decamping to PDP.
Okay.
Because, I mean, it's
and the candidate that is chosen to represent you is going to be crucially important.
Yes.
I think.
And that's why he has not been throwing stones at other aspirants.
Okay.
Because he knows that eventually, if he wins, he will need their collaboration to win the general elections.
Let me get Samson into this conversation in Warri. Good morning, Samson.
Good morning, Professor Onkuyori. And good morning, our guest in the studio.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Onkuyori, this thing is very simple. I would like to second that motion for Mark this. If I have my way, I'm serious, if I have my way, all of them should go. All these past governor, what are they? See, Uncle, do you know why these politics have come to something else? It's because of the money involved, not because they want to do anything for anybody. I knew Fayemi very well. If I want a governor...
You know Fayemi very well? Is that what you said?
That's where my mom is from now, Ekiti. So now I'm saying, so now Uncle Yori, they are not going there because of, see now all those guys are hired now. How much? Maybe 5,000, 50,000. They are turned to political toggery. So the only solution is the money involved. Let them put that as the governor, your salary is 500,000. You will not see anybody there. You will not see them. I'm telling you, all this one they are talking Fayemi. No, we don't need them. They need a neutral person to win that state.
All right.
And I can bet it. If APC should go ahead and bring it Fayemi, they are going to, I swear to out of my village, they are going to lose that election. Good morning, sir.
Well, thank you very much for calling in, Samson. Dr. Johnson, it seems to me that this is something the party has to handle most delicately. You said it, that
it's important for parties to manage primaries.
And they have to be
it's
very, very
important
careful
for
with
APC nationally to learn from the mistakes of PDP. The very mistakes that PDP made in managing their crisis internally, APC has been experiencing it on a gradual basis. And it's important for them to nip it in the bud before 2019 election. Because if the people in APC today nationally are populated by people that decamped from PDP. There were 2 governors that contested PDP primaries that are sitting governors now in APC. And so nobody should come to the conclusion that anybody cannot decamp from one party to the other. So it's very, very important for APC to manage that. And the onus of responsibility lies with National Working Committee. They shouldn't handle this case like the way they handled on those issues.
Okay, Mr. Jose in what, Ikorodu?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Okay, Uncle Yanis, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
And well done for this good job, sir.
You're very kind.
I just want to register my own, yes. Okay.
Don't listen to yourself. Continue, please.
Okay. You see, this problem we have in this country, we just continue.
No, we're not talking about this country. Ekiti, primaries for governorship.
What happened in Ekiti is the same thing we are, we are experiencing all over. Look at the whole congresses everywhere.
All right.
It's not different from one another.
Okay.
Ekiti primary, Uncle Yori, I understand you.
Okay, I'm sorry. Unfortunately, the talkback he was listening to that, your own voice seduces you a bit. Look at the point that was made by one of the guys who called in that should Dr. Fayemi indeed be the flag bearer of APC, it could work against the party.
No. That is not true.
You don't subscribe to that?
I don't subscribe to that. Anybody that picks, look, all the aspirants in APC are very qualified.
Okay.
More than what we have now in PDP. So anybody that eventually gets the ticket will carry the day because the people are tired of the party, the ruling party there.
Yeah, but why can't you guys handle democracy? Femi, what are your thoughts on that? Why can't the people in Ekiti handle democracy properly, internal democracy, especially by a party like APC that says this is the primary thing for us?
Well, before I answer that, Yori, let me quickly make two statements here concerning what has already been discussed. One was what my friend, Dr. Ajayi, already spoke to.
He's a lawyer.
Okay. Already spoke to as to whether or not there's a possibility that some aspirants, might decamp. And he said, not necessarily. See, I would like to kindly, gently disagree with that.
Okay.
For the simple reason that what happened on Saturday was so well planned, orchestrated. It was a gang up.
You don't think it was spontaneous?
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
He has said before that on the eve of the election, everybody knew where the pendulum was swinging.
It is clear.
I'm sorry to truncate you because you've said that there was a gang up. It was not spontaneous. I've got to make the time to take in Yakub as our last caller. Good morning, Yakub.
Yeah, Shifari, good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in.
And then good morning to the three wise men in the studio because of the time. Shifari, for me, I'm not surprised. I'm not really surprised at all. A station whereby you have a national chairman of the party that is not capable of bringing the party together since when the government come to play in 2015. I've never seen a party chairman at the national that have never made sure in every state. When you mention Kaduna, you mention Kogi, you mention Ekiti, you can keep going on and going on. The party leader has the fault. Let me give you another typical example, Shifari, quickly. President Muhammadu Buhari stepped up a committee led by Ashwad Bola Ahmed Tinubu to reconcile the political gladiator that is fighting in the party. Do you know that Ashwad Bola Ahmed Tinubu cried out that the same leader, party chairman at National, did not allow him to function. He only go to Sokoto. After Sokoto, Ashwad Bola Ahmed Tinubu stopped to go anywhere, nowhere again. And then this is the result. I can tell you, the gentleman in the studio at the middle, he says that if Fayemi comes to play, the APC, I can tell you, you know where I stand. You know where I stand? APC, the truth must be said here. Whoever the candidate they brought on in Ekiti, they are not going to take that state. You cannot take that state from the Fayose because this is the man of the people.
But Fayose is not running.
If Fayose is not running, I can tell you, Fayose, people love Fayose, and then they can still love whoever Fayose bring on because.
Okay, all right. Sorry, because of time. Thank you very much. I'm so sorry to interrupt you. Time. I know you guys are making, heavy-duty comments. I don't know. I don't want to debate that particular point. That's his own particular take of the matter. We don't have much more time. In fact, we've run out of time now. And but this is not an impossible problem.
No, it's solvable.
It's solvable.
It's a solvable problem. And I think that the party should come in and deal with everybody with equity.
That's right.
Once equity is in place, the problem will be resolved, and the earlier they do it, the better.
You probably identify with that.
Yes, yeah. I believe in the ability of the National Working Committee.
Okay.
And I believe that everything will be resolved within the next few hours.
Lovely. Yeah. Femi?
You know, I take a slight tack, you know, from the two gentlemen, and that is that the party must be very decisive, okay, you know, in as far as this Ekiti thing is concerned. Okay. Otherwise, it's going to blow up.
Oh, thank you very much, you know, for that. You know, Mr. Femi Odire, media professional and political, you know, shall I say, landscape observer.
Whatever it is, thank you very much.
They called you professor. I see that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kole Ajayi, former governorship candidate of Accord Party, now a member, that was in 2014, now a member of APC, and as always, our friend, in fact, our consultant, Dr. Jimmy Johnson. Thank you very much.
Pleasure to be with you, Uncle Yori.
Did I say Jimmy Johnson? I remember Jimmy Johnson. Jide Johnson. Not to be compared. They're two different things.
Thank you very much.
Okay, that's our program. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Polani. Bye-bye for now.